The only seat that mattered on my graduation day was the one that stayed empty. As my name echoed across the stadium and hundreds of families erupted into cheers, I looked toward the section reserved for mine. Every chair sat vacant beneath the bright afternoon sun. I accepted my diploma with a smile that existed only for the camera, because the truth would have broken me right there on the stage. My name is Madison Carter, and that empty row did not surprise me as much as it should have. My parents had spent my entire life proving that my younger sister Chloe always came first. I worked before sunrise at a coffee shop through high school, picked up extra shifts in college, and sent money home whenever my mother claimed Chloe needed dance lessons, school trips, new clothes, or some other emergency. Every dollar I earned seemed to disappear into someone else's dream, while I convinced myself that sacrificing enough would finally earn their love. Graduate school became my fresh start. I believed that if I earned my master's degree in data science, maybe my family would finally see me as more than the dependable daughter who always fixed their problems. Instead, 3 days after graduation, the only message my mother sent read, "Need $2,100 for Chloe birthday party." There was no congratulations, no question about the ceremony, nothing except another demand. I stared at the message until something inside me finally changed. My savings barely covered my own future, yet she still expected me to finance another celebration. I transferred exactly $1, added the note, "Congratulations," and closed the app. Then I picked up the spare apartment key my mother insisted on keeping, dropped it into the trash, and hired a locksmith that same evening. When the new lock clicked into place, it felt like the first decision I had ever made for myself. The peace lasted less than 24 hours. Loud knocking shook my apartment door, and when I looked through the peephole, 2 police officers stood outside. My mother had reported that I was mentally unstable after changing my locks and refusing to answer her calls. The officers stepped inside, found a clean apartment, my framed diploma, and a calm graduate filling out job applications. After asking a few questions, one officer smiled kindly and said that setting boundaries often makes controlling people panic. Those words stayed with me long after they left. The next morning, I checked my credit report and felt my stomach drop. 2 credit cards had been opened under my name using my parents' address. Thousands of dollars had already been charged to party planners, decorators, and entertainment companies. My mother's request had never been a request. She had already stolen my identity to pay for Chloe's celebration. I contacted the fraud department immediately. Within minutes, they confirmed that my mother had signed the paperwork herself. After filing the report, I called her and calmly asked why my name was attached to accounts I had never opened. She laughed and claimed she was helping me build credit. Then she reminded me that family shares everything. I quietly informed her that the accounts were now under fraud investigation. The silence on the phone told me she finally realized I was done being controlled. A few days later, we met at a small diner. My father avoided eye contact while Chloe barely looked up from her phone. I placed copies of the bank records on the table and explained exactly what I had discovered. My mother dismissed everything as a misunderstanding and insisted she had sacrificed so much for me. I reminded her that I had paid for my own education, supported the family for years, and never agreed to any of this. When I told her the bank already had the evidence, every ounce of confidence disappeared from her face. She accused me of destroying the family, but I simply stood up and replied that she had destroyed it the moment she decided my identity was worth more than her daughter. The investigation moved quickly. During Chloe's expensive birthday celebration, bank investigators and local officers arrived to verify fraudulent charges connected to the event. Guests watched in stunned silence as receipts were examined and questions were asked. The music stopped, conversations faded, and the glamorous party slowly emptied under a cloud of embarrassment. I stayed home, listening to the rain outside my apartment instead of celebrating anyone's downfall. Justice did not feel exciting. It felt peaceful. A few days later, the bank confirmed that my mother had admitted to the unauthorized accounts and accepted responsibility for repaying every dollar. I froze my credit, closed every account she had ever accessed, and pinned 3 things beside each other on my apartment wall. My diploma reminded me what I had earned. The locksmith receipt reminded me when I finally protected myself. The fraud confirmation reminded me that truth eventually catches up with people who believe they can take without consequences. 6 months later, I started my dream job as a data analyst. My apartment was still quiet, but now the silence felt different. It no longer sounded like loneliness. It sounded like freedom. For years, I believed love had to be earned through sacrifice. Walking away taught me the opposite. Real love never demands your future, your identity, or your peace. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is change the locks, protect your name, and finally choose yourself.